All right, so Three Ninjas Podcast, Domino, Hess, Jones, Bobby, and we have a guest on the line, and we have this guest specifically on the line because y'all motherfuckers still playing, right? Election is 2 weeks away. Y'all worried about flies on people's heads, people getting over COVID in 3 days, and Kanye West wants you to write his name on the ballot. That's not how any of this goes, all right? So hopefully the person that we have on the line, hopefully this conversation will at least get you to register to vote and out there to vote. So on the line right now, we have the CEO of Gamers.Vote. We have Christie St. Martin. Christie, how are you doing?
I mean, I'm good. I'm like COVID good. I mean, I'm not surviving. So, I mean, it's sunny out and it's not snowing yet. And this is around the time we all think that we can go Halloween trick-or-treating, which one you shouldn't do this year. But I'm feeling better about the fact that it's not, in the negative in Connecticut. So, yeah. Hi, guys.
Hi. So now what is Gamers.Vote?
Sure. So we're a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization, very pro-democracy that encourages and supports the active participation. So with that, we lead a coalition of a bunch of different organizations as a unifying brand, make voting a priority. And that ranges from like publishers, developers. We have mobile app companies that are doing things, esports organizations from pro league to collegiate. It's been really, really fun. We have a bunch of athletes that are supporting us and a couple different celebrities as well. So it's been interesting, but we're really just not for one person or party, although I think I can very, very accurately say that we're not for Kanye.
Right. Yes.
But, I mean, other than that, I think it's just about making sure that people actually show up and helping them realize that, great if you requested a mail-in ballot. Do you know what to do? Do you know where to go drop it off? Or you can show up in person, et cetera?
Okay. Now, you started Gamers.Vote in 2018. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it was originally supposed to be a one-day streamathon. We had connected with Kevin Lynn, and he was telling us that we could try to do a one-day thing on July 4th. And then around the time that I really took the initiative to a larger extent, it was right in peak COVID or end of March, early April. And so we turned it from a one-day event into something that now exists past November 3rd in a way where we get gamers activated on local, state, district levels beyond and leading into the midterms.
Okay. Now, how have you guys been trying to market this thing with Gamers.Vote, trying to get the youth, I guess, to register, to at least to register and then go out to vote?
Right. So one of the very interesting things is that we, unlike a lot of different organizations in this place, to have zero budget. And so it's all started from personal connections and relationships where we use other people. We truly believe that communities, gamers are smart. They can educate themselves. So what we do is we empower those very unique communities within our space, again, from tabletop, sports community. I don't think CSGO folks and Dota players hang out in the same environment. So what it is, it's about making sure that we give people all the broadcast kits, things they can do. We have a bunch of different tech. We have a extension on Twitch that helps you not leave the stream, but check your registration status, take you to go register if you haven't already done so, and then information about where you need to go and activate, whether you're going to go vote in person or do your absentee ballot.
Okay. Now, do you have a background in politics at all?
So I am on the gaming side. So I've been in this forever. I am an old school. I'm an elder gamer.
Right.
So I mean, I played Counter-Strike competitively back when it wasn't cool and there was no real money in it. 1.4 in Source, and was a giant MMO nerd. And before that, obsessed with EverQuest on dial-up, something that are also a generation.
Right.
Generations will never know the pains of playing a massive multiplayer game online. Those are my background, but I've been working in this space from the brand perspective, esports, and publisher side for marketing initiatives. Our COO is actually one of the coolest people I know in this space. He has worked at IGN, Blizzard, but then also built the Rainbow Six program. He was one of 3 people that built that program out for the esports tournaments. So pretty cool.
Okay, cool. Now, what's been your experience being a female gamer in this toxic ass space?
Well, I mean, we embrace a culture where everyone feels empowered to use their voice to create impact. And obviously, it's very instrumental not to wait for elections, like milestone events such as the presidential election.
Right.
I would tell you that it's been complicated, but I mostly believe in the positivity of this space. Like, I never really felt like I was excluded, other than, sure, there was a couple times when I was playing online games where I didn't use my normal name unless it was a protected server. But I think if I were to compare where I started, where we are versus where we are today, such amazing improvements. We're already seeing communities self-regulate and check themselves, on language and the way that they treat women. So I see it as positive. I remember the days when I was at an esports conference and I was one of maybe 2 women present. And now we see a lot more. Of course, new people to the space come to those events and they're like, you think this is a great representation of female? And I'm like, no, but baby steps, we're getting there.
Right. Now, what's been your biggest challenge so far with Gamers.Vote? Is it sponsorships? Is it getting people to register? Is it getting the eyes on you? Like what?
So one, we've had no issue as far as, onboarding people, because it's as little as someone wanting to do a social post or finding a way to support versus tentpole events. But our biggest issue has been trying to explain to people that saying to go vote is actually not political. They don't have to get into the mess of who you're voting and how you're going to vote, and more just about how it's like your actual fundamental freaking right to go vote. And I hope that one day we make voting and gaming synonymous. But that's been our biggest struggle, is just that it's become considered to be partisan to say to go vote, which is 100% not the case. And so just educating around that and making people feel empowered to know that that's a acceptable thing to say on a stream without worrying about how, people are going to react on your stream.
Okay. Now, are there people on your timeline that still think that their vote doesn't matter, or they're not going to vote at all because it's like picking the lesser of 2 evils, I want to say?
Yeah. So what I say to there is, unfortunately, unlike so many things in the gaming community, complaining on the internet doesn't work so much for elected officials.
It never does.
Democracy. I wish that it were, because I believe we'd be so much better at this. But not. So that's where I'm like, whether you think the system is broken or not, the only way that changes is by fundamentally participating on every level. And presidential is really just a milestone one. What's more important is in 2021, you have like 22 mayoral elections that are incredibly important. And then you have 425 seats in the House of Representatives. And that's where real change can happen, right? Getting people who are actually supporting the things that will improve your life, your condition for family, friends, etc. So I hope that overall we start to make those kind of changes. And I'm really excited about this event we have coming up on the 23rd. And we have one that's starting tomorrow. It's a golf tournament that's badass. It's happening in Vegas. But we're partnered with TV for a $40,000 tournament for Fall Guys that all goes to charities in the space. And we're battling each other out. And I hope it's super loud and fun. But hopefully by doing fun things, we explain that it doesn't have to be complicated or messy, and you don't have to argue for your particular candidate of choice to participate and rally other people to use their voice for a change.
Right. That's beautiful. Now, what has 2020 taught you as a whole?
Holy crap. That I'm more capable of surviving. No, to be honest, as a mom with 2 kids, both under 5, it's been a real ride trying to create this train. But I think I'm a diehard optimist, right? This is awful, but we clearly needed to have this boiling point. And I hope that we move forward in a really, really great way. Personally, I'm this is important issues that we're tackling, civil rights stuff that was never really properly handled in the first place. And so I'm excited to see that personally, of how we progress as a nation going forward. And I think we're probably entering some of the worst of it. If you had to ask my personal opinion, I think basically November to January is probably going to be the messiest portion this year. But I do think we're going to get to a good place eventually, if not slowly.
Okay, now has all your advertisements been strictly online? There's no you going outside and actually handing out flyers or going to events or anything like that? It's just everything strictly online?
We're not doing that. We have, again, COVID stuff. Everything has been virtual.
I mean, the world's kind of open back up, kind of.
Yeah. Well, for example, this Las Vegas event that we have is a golfing invitational. It's a 2-day tournament where they're playing at Shadow Creek, but then they're also doing a PGA 2K stream tomorrow night at 8 p.m. And we have Seth Curry, Josh Hart, Damian Lee, a bunch of like gaming folks like FaZe Kaz and like Hector Rodriguez, and they're going to do a really cool stream. Nade Shot's involved. It's going to be really, really fun. But I mean, that is actually the first physical event that we've had, right? Like they're being flown on a jet, and this is being handled by the sponsors that are involved for that. But it's a really cool experience for them. And then they're doing a GamersVote stream to try to champion their own communities to go and actually have a plan to vote, because we're left about registering, making sure they actually know what the heck they're going to do this month or early November.
Right. Now, after this election is over, are you going to pop up like every 2 to 4 years, or you got a plan to actually keep this going throughout the year?
Yeah. So again, like the amount of pivots that I've had to do since July has been interesting. This was never supposed to be the case, and we now know that this is what our hopeful impact is ongoing. So we have a couple different opportunities where we're considering how we can be great in messaging for health and safety as we enter a more difficult time for COVID, with everyone coming home from college, where they're going to come home and probably have some mashed potatoes and pass COVID to grandma. So like, what can we do to help educate our communities around that? And then, of course, there's vaccine reasons. But I think what we're hoping to do is lead up to those mayoral elections and midterms.
All right, so you're going to stay on board with the state and the local elections and, just try to keep pushing that. Now, the deadline for Connecticut is October 27th, correct?
Yep, it is. And what's interesting about that is Connecticut is one of the only states where if you didn't register by October 27th, you can go in person to go vote and register at the exact same time, which is incredible, right? Like not all states allow you to do that.
Okay, cool.
So if you're a procrastinator, you got time, but I'd recommend getting it handled as soon as possible.
Let me ask my host, are y'all registered to vote?
Yeah, I've been registered to vote since I was 18, dog.
When's the last time you voted, though?
Last time?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just saying a lot of people ain't vote last time. Okay, all right, well.
A couple of months ago, whenever that was, right?
Yeah.
Local. The local election?
Yeah.
Okay, good for you. Hey, proud of y'all, man.
Hey, I'm a huge advocate for voting early, given my school situation for my daughter right now. I'm like, man, do I want to participate in local elections? Real important.
Yeah, when you got iPads exploding and stuff, you might
right, like really good reason to get
get out there and go vote. All right, Christie. Now, is there any other information that we should know going forward about Gamers.Vote? Where can I find you online? And all that good stuff.
I mean, real easy. Go to Gamers.Vote. You can find everything you need. You can find us where to go on social, etc. There's a bunch of free social kits if you want to like help us get involved. What's really great is even though we're at the tail end of this particular election cycle, we have a couple events where I always urge if there's something that your organization or you believe that you want to participate in some way in some of our events, like reaching out to any of us and we can help connect that and make that happen.
Okay, cool. Now, do you plan on doing this until like the last minute, until like November 2nd?
Yeah, we actually have an event on November 3rd. We're partnered with #IVoted, and they're doing like 500 artists are doing a concert that's happening like literally for 24 hours, where if you prove that you want to go vote, and by proving voting, it means like taking a picture at your polling station within a reasonable distance or a picture of your blank ballot where you get a direct link that only works for you, then you get to participate in this concert. And we have a GamersVote participation that's involved in that. It's just really exciting.
Okay, so hopefully we got a reason to celebrate. We're not just doing this shit for no reason.
Yeah, and the other one that's really cool that I'm really excited about that I can at least hint towards is November 1st. We're doing an awesome event for the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but Desmond Meade is this incredible individual who was formerly incarcerated as a young adult. He served his time. He went to college. He became a lawyer. He then fought and then restored the rights for 1.4 million Americans to vote in Florida. And then this last month, he raised $25 million to pay off the fines and fees for residents to go actually vote this year. So we're doing an event with gamers and with their influencers and our different organizations that's really talking about like, don't get permabanned. No one deserves to be permabanned for voting.
Okay. All right. Well, everybody get out there and goddamn vote. Go goddamn register to vote if you haven't registered yet. Connecticut, you have until October 27th to go out there and register. Other states, I'm pretty sure it's around that same time. I'm not sure, but look it up in your respective state. Hopefully, if your date is passed, you've already registered to vote. Christie, great talking to you. Hopefully next time we talk to you, we'll have something to actually celebrate and, it'll be on better terms than the fucking world being on fire.
Hopefully we won't require masks or any such thing.
Yeah, something like that. We actually get you in the studio for something.
Thank you guys for having me.
No problem. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.